Kickoff starts now.
We're right back at it, episode 16 of From the Den podcast, and this time it is not something about the Bears specifically. We've decided to do some more NFL news. We haven't been covering it lately since we've just been so consumed with all of that, the Bears stuff. But we're going to start off with the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins. Now, I think they're just the Washington football team. There's a lot going on there, a lot to unpack, but we'll just start with the more lighter part about changing their name. There are a lot of new options for the Redskins' new name, and we'll go through them. And Oren, what do you think? Tell me what you think your favorite new name is, or what it'll end up becoming.
So I think what it'll end up becoming is the Warriors, because Dan Snyder, I think, has the rights to the Warriors, which would make it way easier for them to get it. It's a good name.
Oh, right. Yeah. Something to add is that I think a realtor or someone in Washington actually bought the rights to a lot of the names that the Washington Redskins would have, which was very smart on his part, although maybe a little annoying, because now the Redskins, if they were to use any of those names, they would have to buy it from this realtor guy.
Yeah, so the Warriors would make most sense. What I think would be cool is if they have the skins, because it's removing the red part of it, so it's just the skins. It's not as offensive.
But I mean, I don't know. I think that's kind of dumb because it still has the same connotation. Like it's not a name change. It just what would skin even mean? What would they change their logo to?
I don't know if they changed their new logo to. But
so, there you go. That just seems like so lazy, and I know that would get hella backlash. I don't know. I don't know about the skin.
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting because the Redskins are such a historic team, and they kind of need to change their name for many different reasons. But it's like, why not take the offensive part out of it? And I get it's still being a bit lazy. But
I know that we're discussing this another time. You're someone that you take a lot of pride in the history of the NFL, and I mean, okay, I'll let you speak your piece. I don't want to speak for you, so you can talk about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say is I think that what that does is it balances out. It's not as offensive. It's not offensive because it's not directed at. And the only reason they would keep it as that name is because of their history, is because it's kind of just adding on to what their team was before. It's the least amount of change in a non-offensive way.
But I don't know. That does not make any sense to me. The skins. What does the skin mean? Or if someone was not familiar with the NFL, and they saw the skins, what would they think?
Yeah, but what
the name? That's just clearly an abbreviation for what was the Redskins, and a lazy attempt to make up for or to cover up the name that they're keeping. So,
yeah, but what would people think when they hear the Packers?
What?
The Packers.
Yeah, that's okay, fine. But Packers is like cheese Packers, but Skins is literally nothing. The name Skins would just be an abbreviation for the previously offensive name. So that doesn't make sense to me.
I think that it encompasses history and takes out the negative part.
I think that I understand that there's a history to it, but I don't think that there's a way to keep referencing history without taking out the name. And I think that if the name is offensive to Native Americans, then they should definitely, although maintaining the NFL's history is certainly important, and the traditions that go on in the NFL are a great thing. Offending a group of people is like making sure that all groups of people are happy to watch the NFL and don't feel offended by some offensive term every time they're watching a game. That's the number one priority here. And by keeping in the skins, that just, I don't know, to me it just doesn't make sense, because the Skins is not a team name. The Skins would just be an abbreviation for Redskins.
Well, I mean, I think they should try to change it as little as possible. Obviously, you have to change it to make it not offensive anymore, because obviously
I think that they're getting a complete name change. They're not abbreviating it, so it's not as little as possible.
Well, I mean, I think that that's what they should try to do, because it's offensive.
Because you're someone who is in favor of history, but I think that
I'm not necessarily in favor of history.
I mean, I'm saying not in favor. I said that wrong. I just mean like you're someone who's very much I don't know what the word is. Just you very much like history, and you like the NFL's history, and I understand that. But just I've said my perspective before, just that the name is going to get changed anyway. The name will get changed, and for good reason.
Yeah.
So I don't think that you could expect it to just be skins and nothing else. What do I think? Oh, thanks for asking. No, I'm kidding.
What
I
do you
think something. There we go. I think a cool name. I don't think that this will actually end up being what happens. Is the Washington Red Tails, because first of all, it sounds pretty cool. I don't know, the Red Tails, and like people are expecting. I mean, a lot of the concepts I've seen have been keeping the red in it, which makes sense because you could keep a similar jersey and all that. But the Red Tails were actually one of the first all African American aviator squadrons in World War II, in the World War II era, which I think was it would be a good homage to other cultures, which is good to like go from something that was offensive to an actually like respectful and honoring, like an actual honorary homage. But well, I think that would be cool. I don't anticipate that to happen just because Dan Snyder doesn't strike me as a person that would do that, and it would be a lot of complications. I could see the Washington Warriors just for the reason that you were saying he owns the Washington Warriors, or maybe something relating to government, although it might be kind of boring, like the Senators or something like that, just because they are set in DC.
Interesting. I think that the Warriors, if I had to bet on any team name, it would be the Warriors. It just makes the most sense.
But it's also, there already is a Warrior, so I would much rather see a unique name.
Exactly. It's something that fits DC. Something that
or something that fits something like Warrior. I don't know.
I mean, it's like it should have a backstory, and there probably is something to do with the Warriors. You can put something together, but it's like
maybe.
It's a capital of the U.S., Washington, D.C.
Yeah, there's so much more that you could do with that name. It's not some random town. There's so much more that you could do. But although, like what I was saying, there is a lot of history in D.C., I feel like most of it, like, it's not going to be the Washington Capitol buildings. Like, a lot of the history it doesn't really fit as a team name,
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode of From the Den, please remember to subscribe, comment, and like this video. Or, if you're a Packers fan, remember to dislike and leave a nasty comment. Click the links on the screen to access additional content.